Evangelist Tabitha, tell your story.
Amen.
All right? So I introduce to all of you and present from my friend, Minister Tabitha Matthews.
Amen. 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 Tell your story.
Evangelist Tabitha, tell your story. Say it again.
Evangelist Tabitha, tell your story.
One more.
Evangelist Tabitha, tell your story.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Well, since y'all asked so nicely, I reckon I will. I just want to start with a word of prayer.
Amen.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Father God, in the name of Jesus. Lord, I come before you this morning as humbly as I know. And God, I give you thanks and I give you praise, not just for what you've done, but because of who you are.
Amen.
It is because of who you are that I stand to minister a word to your people today. And God, I ask that you would make me invisible. I ask, God, that they would only see you. That they would only see what you've done in my life. And God, one more thing that I would love for you to do today. I ask, God, that you would touch the heart of not just a young lady, not just a young woman, but any woman in this place today that may feel like they're in a point in their life where it's time to make a decision, holiness or hell. I thank you today that that decision shall be made. I thank you that when we walk out this door today, God, that that decision would be confirmed. Hallelujah. And that you would rule and that you would reign over their life. I thank you right now, God, that it is done.
Amen.
I thank you that the devil that we faced on the way in, we shall see again no more forever. In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
God, we give you full authority over our lives, over our bodies, over our mouths. We give you authority to speak on our behalf, God, in the name of Jesus. God, let someone's life be touched, someone's soul be saved, someone's struggle be delivered in the name of Jesus. And God, I give you glory, and I give you honor, and I give you praise.
Hallelujah.
All glory, all honor belongs to you. And I thank you for what you are about to do. I thank you for answering this prayer already. I thank you because I know that you always hear me when I pray. I thank you. Hallelujah. I thank you that my little sister shall be delivered. I thank you that she shall be set free for your glory. I thank you that the decisions that she's been facing, whether to commit suicide, whether to cut, whether to have sex, I thank you that that thought has been destroyed by the anointing of Jesus.
Hallelujah.
I thank you, God, that some parents will remember, hallelujah, that they've been 16 and 17. I thank you right now that some parents will know, hallelujah, what their child is facing today. I thank you that the real women of God will begin to stand up. I thank you that the wailing women will begin to wail before you for our children. I thank you that the wailing women will begin to put forth our children on the altar.
Yes,
I
Lord.
thank you in the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. Glory, I thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
I thank you for what you are about to do. I thank you for what you are doing right now.
Yes, Lord.
Jesus. For it is done, and it will work together for our good. Put your feel real good right now. I feel real good in my spirit and my soul. I'm so honored to be here with you today. I'm honored because I've seen things over the last week that I've never seen before in my life. I'm honored that I got this invitation from my friend, from my mentor. Like, y'all took away from me. You know, China took her and St. Louis took her. But I thank God for Lady Sykes because she helped me through times in my life that were the darkest. You know, we go through things and we think, oh, we done went through this and that and the other, and it's over. But it's never over. You know, whenever you're called to be anointed, you got to be willing to go through some things. You know, when you're anointed, you got to be willing to be unpopular. You got to be willing to be unliked. You know, people think that when you arrive, you know, that everything is fixing to be okay. That at some point things gonna calm down, you know? And that never really happens if you're anointed. Now, I ain't talking about the deep folk that the devil don't ever mess with. You know, the ones that have arrived. I'm not really talking to you, you know, stay in your sealed house and stay, you know, everything nice and cool. I'm just talking about the people that may have been going through some things, you know? I'm talking about people that may have a young child, a young daughter that may be a little bit rebellious, you know? I'm talking to people that may not have it all together when they get home. That's who I want to talk to today. Those are the mothers that I want to talk to. Then I want to talk to you teenage girls as well that may be faced with different things in your lives that you feel like nobody understands. You feel like my parent just does not understand me. Like, I'm a different breed. You know, I'm a different class. My mama don't understand me. She understood my sister. She understood my brother. She really don't understand me. That's who I want to talk to today. Okay? Because I, as a wayward teen, I thought my parents really didn't understand me, you know. At the age of 15, I think is when things kind of took a turn for the worse in my life, you know. I want to preface this by saying that the enemy does not fight fair. Okay. All right now. And parents, if you think that the enemy is fighting against you, it's not, you know, like I watched a few shows and some people always say, you know, kids, they off limits. You know, you won't mess with my child, I won't mess with you, that's just off limits. The enemy don't care nothing about your limits and your boundaries. All right now. He don't care nothing about that. That's right. Most of the times he knows that that's the way to get to you. Is to start stirring things up within your children. So if you can imagine that the enemy is always on your back, what do you think he would do to the mind of a child whose brains haven't even fully developed, who don't have nice experiences so that they can balance things out and say, this is a good idea or this is a bad idea? He don't fight fair. That's right. So then, parents, what exactly are we doing? You know? Are we praying for our children? Are we really, really praying for our children? Let's think about this for a second. The number one question that parents always ask me is, how did you get to the pole? How did you get to the pole? And now let me say this. Okay, so I was an exotic dancer, right? And I danced on the pole. But everybody has a pole in their life. Yours might not be gold and shiny like mine was, but everybody has a pole in their life. Don't judge me because I sin differently than you do. Everybody has a pole. For me, my pole was a P-O-L-E, a place of low esteem. As a young woman, you know, you would think automatically that it takes high self-esteem to get up there in front of everybody and swing around a pole and turn upside down. And, you know, everybody would think that that's the case, but actually it was the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. When parents ask me, how did you get to the pole? My answer is always the same. And that answer is that I did not know my worth. I did not know my worth. What does that mean, Tabitha? I didn't know that I was a motivated young woman of respect, talent, and honor. I did not know my worth. Well, how is it that you lose your worth, Tabitha? Let me tell you, this doesn't start just one day. I didn't decide to be a dancer when I turned 18 years old. I didn't decide that. This started way back before then with seeds. You know, the word is right. There are certain rules and laws that are right no matter what. The word says that one man planted, another man watered, but God will give the increase. There were certain things that were planted in my life as a youth that made me take the direction that I took. Now let me say this to you young ladies today. I made every decision I made for a few reasons, but there is one big reason that links us together today. I made the decisions that I made in my life so that I could stand here today and talk to you and tell you that those aren't the decisions that you should make. Nothing that I went through was for me.
Amen.
It was for you.
Okay.
It was for you. Nothing that I went through was for me. It was for you. And it was for you. And it was for you. So that you can look back on my story and see where you need to take a different turn. So like I said, I didn't know my worth. I didn't know that I was worth more than my price in rubies. I didn't even know that I was worth $1. Because when I started to dance, actually, that's exactly what you got, pretty much $1. You just walk around and get a whole bunch of different dollars. Same story, different day. I decided at the age of 18 that I would be as grown as I wanted to be. And I wanted to live with my boyfriend. So I did just that. I went and I lived with my drug dealer boyfriend. And he was very abusive, and I knew this. He ain't hit me because mom didn't raise no food. But he was very abusive, and I knew of his history of abuse. And I decided one day that I would talk a lot of junk to him. And I did just that, and he turned around, and he told me these words, and I wrote this in the book. He said, if you lived with me in Miami, they would have found your body on the side of this road a long time ago, stinking, and your mama would not be able to identify you. And I thought about it, he just playing, but he really, really loved me. He ain't gonna never hit me. Well, I talked a little bit more junk, and he did. He slapped me in my face. And I was like, I got to go. But I was afraid by that time. This man slept on top of me that night and begged me not to leave. And the money was really, really good, you know. But that's what I need for you to understand. I need you to know that you're worth more than $1. You're worth more than $2. You're worth more than $10. So I laid down that night and I let him believe that I was going to sleep. And I called my friends and I told them, I said, let me tell you something, I need y'all to come and get me. They came over and they picked me up. I said, I'm ready to go to Jacksonville with you. And we ran to Jacksonville. I left everything there in that house that day. I left all of my clothes because I figured if I leave my clothes here, then I'll get a few more hours because he won't know that I'm gone. So I left all of my clothes. I went to Jacksonville, Florida that day with my friends. Now let me explain to you that in order to get up the courage, fake courage, false courage, to do something like that, you have to be at your rock bottom. And I want parents to understand that rock bottom for you might not be the same rock bottom for your children. I need you to understand that they don't worry about bills and they don't worry about car notes and stuff like that or mortgage. They don't worry about stuff like that. They worry about fitting in. And I need for you to understand that you need to validate your daughters. You need to let them know that they are beautiful. See, because I was seeking to know that I was worth it. I was seeking, I wanted to know that I was pretty because I was joked and teased as a little child that I didn't have no hair and I had this big, huge gap in my mouth that the kids would say that you put a sign on one tooth, say next mile to the other tooth. And those things hurt, those things cut. deep. I need you to know that when you talk to your children, you validate them, you give them love, you let them know how beautiful they are. Because when they get out in the streets and they hear those things that I heard, it cuts deep.
Yes.
So then you try to figure out, how can I prove to myself that I'm worth it? So the first guy that came and said, "You pretty," he wasn't looking at my face. He wanted what I could give to him. And at 18 years old, I thought, wow, I'm pretty. He thinks I'm pretty. So I was willing to give up whatever he wanted just to receive the exchange of I'm pretty. But if you validate your children and they know that they're pretty from you, then when it comes from them, oh, I know. Money was a big thing for me because I always wanted to dress nice. I wanted to, look good and everything. So when he was giving me the money, that was another trade-off for me. What I'm trying to get you to see is that you have to balance the trade-off of the world. I'm not saying you have to buy your kids everything that they want. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you have to have relationship with your child as a parent. If you're going to be a good parent, you got to be willing to lose a friend. And that friend has to be your child. I'm not your friend. I'm your mama. Let me tell you something. In my house, and the Lord only gave me boys. I got 3 boys. In my house, ain't nothing a secret. And my kids will tell you in a minute, my mama crazy. And I will be that. You know why? Because I remember what the world did to me. Snuck me away from my mama and my daddy. Listen, my daddy was a Pentecostal pastor. My mama was a prayer warrior, a mother. But the times were changing. See, I got 3 older sisters and 2 young. Me and my baby sister are together. And times were changing. And the world wasn't the same way it was when my mama was raising my first 3 siblings. So now things are a little bit more lax with me and my little sister. So I got to go out a little bit more than the older ones did. I got to do just a few more things than the older ones did. But what happened was my parents weren't watching completely. They trusted me. I'm not saying you don't trust your parents. I do the same thing. I'm a manager at work. I do the same thing. These are grown people we dealing with, so I trust you, but I'm verified. I have a strict rule. Trust, but verify. Keep us both safe. Keep us both safe. So I'm not saying don't trust, but I'm saying you need to verify. You know, when I told my mama that I was going somewhere, she believed me because she always knows my baby's a good girl. She believed me. My aunt came to my mama one day and she said, "Can you say with 100% certainty that all your girls are virgins?" My mama said, "Yes." Every one of my girls, I taught my girls. Every one of my girls is yes. The answer is yes. My sister sit right here on the first row, 40-year-old virgin till she got married. My mama raised us like that. But I lost my virginity at the age of 17. Not because I was hot in the pants, we all grown, but because I was curious, honestly. I just want to know. Can we be real? Amen. Okay. See, because they teach sex education in school. Do you know that the second largest group, fastest growing group of people that are receiving the AIDS virus are, guess how old? 16 to 24. 16 to 24. Second largest group. Now there's some young fools, but there's some old fools too, because guess what the number 1 group is? 40 and up. 40 and up.
Look at that. 40 and up.
Why? Because we're not informed. And you know what? All the little boy had my first time was unprotected. Thank God he was a good guy. I ended up marrying him later, but I'll tell you about that later. But my first time was unprotected. I had heard all the statistics. My first time was unprotected. By the time I turned 19 years old, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. And I'm working, I'm dancing. My mama called me. My mama said, you need to come home. And I said, Mom, I can't right now. I really don't want to come home right now. I'm not ready to come back home. And she says, well, then what are you going to do? I said, give me just a little bit more time. Within the next week, I found out that I was pregnant with my son. When I got to Jacksonville, I met a man, really nice man, or so I thought. My son's father, I got pregnant from him. He owned the club that I was working at. My son's father is 56 years old, which tells you that he was in his 30s when he messed with me. I was 19 years old. Mothers, the games that these men play, these girls aren't ready for it here. So no matter how much they tell you, oh, mama, I understand, oh, he different, you gotta trust.
And verify.
So I got there because I did not know my worth. I said to myself, probably after 3 or so months of being there, that I'm gonna give myself 2 months. Give myself 2 months. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of money real quick. I'm gonna turn around, flip it, go back home to Orlando. But by the time I left, like I told you, I was pregnant with my son. Son's father owned several clubs throughout the state of Florida and in Georgia, Atlanta. Several clubs. So now I know I'm the #1 girl. And I'm going to be taken care of for the rest of my life. My baby won't have to worry about nothing. They're going to have to want for nothing. My son just turned 18 years old and has never seen this man. So I said, God, one day, June 25th, 1998, I walked into a church and I said, God, I want to change. I want to change. And I didn't know why I went in that day. I didn't know what was about to happen. But I said, God, I want to change. I don't want to be the way I am. And I want to be able to take care of my son. And I need your help because I'm going to be honest with you. I got to be honest with you. I would rather buy a new outfit or some new hoop earrings than buy a bottle of milk. Because I was a child. It wasn't a bad on me. I was a child having a child. So I walked into that church that day. And by the time I left out, my life had changed. See, it doesn't take a long time. It just takes a made-up mind. And I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to go to, but I knew what I wanted to go from. And I knew I didn't want to live my life that way no more. Well, there were several people, friends all around me. Oh, girl, don't do that. Oh, girl, come on, go to the club with me. And I did. It's funny because then my son's father showed up, trying to get back with me. And I said, I changed my life. And I don't want to go to the hotel with you no more. He didn't understand that, and he pursued. Why? Because I had made up my mind. So I turned around and I said, you know what, God? I need your help. I prayed a prayer. I said, God, if this man is not for me, remove him from my life. See, when you pray a prayer to God, you got to be ready for the answer. I said, if he's not for me, move him out of my life. From that day on, I didn't hear from that man until after I gave birth to my son. And I said, God, what are you doing? Why would you allow this man to get me pregnant and to leave me? Why would you do this to me? And for the first time, I heard the voice of the Lord, and he said, you asked me to remove him from you, so why are you still looking for him? And I said, I understand, Lord. Now I need you to take him out of my heart. I need for mothers to understand that when a girl says she's in love with a boy, in her mind, she's in love. So you have to break this apart very very gently. And nobody can break that up like Jesus. Hallelujah. He's a gentleman. He comes in and he takes over where the other boy left off. He said, you asked me to remove him from you. So baby, why are you still looking for him? I say, okay, I need you to take him out of my heart. And he started to do that. By the time I gave birth to my son, I didn't have a job. I was working a piece of a job, you know. I didn't know what to do with a baby. All I knew is that I got this new Jesus in my life, and so many things are going good for me. But then so many things are going bad for me as well. God began to strengthen me in how I saw myself. He began to tell me, baby, you are worth more than dirt. You worth more than rubies. You worth more than diamonds. You are priceless. And in the beginning, I didn't get that. I need you to understand how we don't process that well when we're young. Oh, well, I know you said it, but you're supposed to say that. You my mentor. You're supposed to say that. You my mama. You got to say that. You my daddy. But when he taught me how to believe it myself, things began to change. Because even the type of boy that started trying to holler at me was different. I didn't have no more residue on me as a stripper. You know, the boys with their pants, you know, the boys with their pants that be hanging, they didn't try and holler at me no more. Then the enemy bought ones that looked like they were good. See, because now I got a child and I want to be stable. I want a husband. So then he bought ones that looked like they had something going on. But there's an imitation before the real thing. And it always looks real good, right? So I got engaged. And he looked real good. Boy, he could praise. He was his pastor armor bearer. I was like, this is my husband. This is my husband. And the Lord was like, ask me. I'm still young. Ask me. So I said, okay, Lord, this is going to be a rhetorical question because I know that he's saved and I know that this is who you want me to be with. But you want me to seek you and you want me to ask you. So, okay, God, is this him? If it's not him, I want you to remove him. And then the Lord started showing me, I ain't hear him talk about prayer. I ain't seen no prayer life. And then he said, we gonna get married anyway, we might as well do it. I say, no, God, this ain't him. But then I realized there's still something else that you want me to do, God. There's still something else because I know I haven't arrived. I know you still want me to do something. What is it that you want me to do? He said, I need you to fall in love with me. I don't need you to want the boyfriend. I don't need you to want this and that and the other. I just need you to remember that I need you to love me. And I didn't get that. It's not cool sometimes to be saved. That's what young people think. I'm going to have to give up a whole lot. It's not cool to be saved. But that's an illusion. Much like the other illusions that are presenting themselves in the lives of our children today. You know, I'm kind of afraid that, you know, my little children are going to have to go into a bathroom that's not gender specific anymore. And if ain't nobody else going to preach on it, I will. Amen. The word says, cry loud and spare not. I will lift up my voice like a trumpet in Zion. Except gender specific, no boo-boo. You a woman and you a man. Amen. It's real simple. You know, not long ago, I saw in the news, it was Kim Burrell. She was on the soundtrack of a movie that was coming out with this guy, I think his name is the Happy Guy. What's the guy that's saying Happy? Pharrell. He was she was on the soundtrack with Pharrell, and she was getting ready to go on the Ellen DeGeneres show, but Kim got up and started crying out against homosexuality, right? And by the next day, the world had changed their minds about Kim Burrell, and I saw her again on TV, on I think it was Periscope back then, trying to explain. At the the end of the day, y'all, this is what we got to do. You might not be faced with it every day as an adult, but guess what? When our kids go to school, we got girls that dress like boys and boys that dress like girls. You're not faced with it, but your children are, and we are desensitized as a nation. We don't talk about it in church because we're scared to lose members sometimes. But let me tell you something. Sin is sin. You have got to expose your children to everything. I talk about sex to my child. I ask my child, listen, you having sex? You got a little girlfriend now. I'm a little nervous, y'all. You having sex? No, Ma. No, Sway. No, are you having sex? I need to know because I need to have some conversations with you. If you don't have the conversation with them, who you think gonna have it? Amen. I told you that I had my first sexual experience because I just wanted to know. I was curious. Well, if you don't have it, somebody else gonna have it with you. And now, because we are desensitized, and because the world makes our children think that there's nothing wrong with it, who's to say that your child ain't going to be curious about the same sex? You've got to expose your children to the truth. That's not it. I had a group of young girls. I went on the internet and I put up every sexually transmitted diseases and I showed them pictures. I had parents come to me, the devil is a liar. It's there and your child needs to know about it. If you don't want them to know, you take them on out the door. But as for me, I'm going to teach it. Amen. Why? Because I wish somebody would have told me. I had 3 STDs by the time I was 18 years old. Thank my living God it wasn't something that I couldn't take a pill to get rid of. 3 STDs that affect how you have children. I had 7 pregnancies and only 3 live births. Don't tell me that that didn't have something to do with the fact that I got STDs before I was 18 years old.
Jesus.
But if we don't tell our children, they don't know. Amen. I know it may be uncomfortable, but you got your daughter sitting next to you. We need to talk about sex, baby. Amen. We need to talk about and let me tell you something. Stop thinking that somebody else is going to take care of it. Stop thinking that it's just uncomfortable. I don't care if you got to close your eyes to do it. You need to do it. Why? Because they're talking about it. Who don't think their child talk about sex? Be honest. Who don't think that their child, if they have a teenager, is having sex? How many mothers can say, you know what? I don't think. I'm not saying be 100%. I don't think my child having sex. Who? You don't think so? You don't think so? That's good that you think that. Because you don't know. You don't know. And she ain't having sex with a boy, she contemplating having sex with a girl. I'm just telling you the truth. It's tiny. Now, if she ain't having it, she thinking about it. I guarantee you, she's thinking about it. Let me help you, mothers. And if she just thinking about it, guess what? Somebody done rubbed on her leg. Let me help you, mothers.
That's real.
My daddy a Pentecostal pastor. By the time I was 15 years old, I decided to myself, I want a baby. I just need to find out. I didn't even know how it was made, I'm going to be honest with you. I want a baby because it's cute. And I just got to find somebody to give it to me. But I worry about that later, but I just want a baby. My mama never knew. And when I tell you speak in tongues as the Spirit doth give her utterance, I'm talking about a prayer warrior. My mama didn't play it. I saw my mama live the life. I saw it. Do you live the life before your child? See, because parents, we got to stop speaking in tongues and lying in English. All right. opportunity that they ain't sleeping around. I ain't trying to put nobody out there. I ain't trying to put you out there. I'm just telling you, I was a teenager. I am your child. I am not Tabitha Matthews. I am your daughter. And I am speaking as the teen whisperer today to let you know that your daughter needs your help. I needed my mama. I needed somebody to tell me what I was worth. I needed my mama. And it was so much more important. I love my mama. I love my daddy. But it was more important to get to church on time. And I was dying. And I was being lost.
Jesus. All right. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth.
They did what they knew how to do. She worked with what she had. But I was still dying. I gave myself to man after man after man, searching for love in all the wrong places. And my mama thought I was a virgin. I didn't want to be whorish. I just wanted to be loved. And if you're a single mother, you've now doubled the opportunity for your child to be promiscuous. Nothing wrong with it. I did it myself 6 years by myself. But you got to understand that you put yourself at risk. And just because you're at risk doesn't mean things are over. It just means you got to work 10 times harder. You know, I had a conversation with my mama when I turned 20. I had to be 27, 28 because I was pregnant with my second son. And I said, Mama, I just want you to teach me. I just want to know everything that you know about how to be a mother, about how to be a wife, about how, you know, how to do this thing called life, you know. And when I asked her, my mom was like, oh, I showed you this, I showed you that. No. By the way, you told me little things, but my mother had 5 kids, you know, my mom and daddy had 5 kids, so it was hard to reach out and pull time with one of us, and she would give us bits and pieces, you know, as we go along, but sometimes that little girl just want to be up under her mama, you know. Even though we hard-headed and we talk a lot of junk, we just want to be under mama. My mama smells so good, y'all. I told somebody the other day, I told my sister the other day, I said, I want my mama to teach me how she smells so good. You know, my mama know how to layer them scents so that, and when I walk in the room, I can smell her. You know, I can smell her. My daddy told me when I was a baby, I cried a whole lot. Hush, Kimberly. I cried a whole lot. And my mama worked night shift at the hospital. And my daddy would take my mama's dirty slip and put it in the crib with me, and I would stop crying. I crave my mother. I craved closeness with my mother. Mothers, your daughters need you. She craves you. Even though she nasty sometimes and she got a bad attitude, she just want to be close to you. She wants you to teach her. Don't make her find it somewhere else. She craves you. Sister to sister, I'm going to give you 3 things. 3 things that I think every little sister should get from a big sister. I'm your big sister today. 3 things that I think that every little sister should know from her big sister. Number 1, and y'all probably said it before me, you must know your worth. Ever wonder why you don't see commercials for Bentley and like Ferrari and stuff like that? You'll never see no commercials. They don't have to spend marketing dollars on advertising. They don't have to do that. You know why? Because they know that the value of their product is always going to bring a customer.
That's it.
When you know your worth, young ladies, you're going to stop giving people discounts. When you know your worth. You don't have to discount nothing, baby. You You're worth so much more than you realize. But you got to know your worth. Remember when we started this, I said, I danced on the pole because I did not know my worth. It ain't so far away. Lesson number 2, sister to sister, big sister to little sister. Lesson number 2, and I learned this the hard way. Don't try to fit in because you were born to stand out. I told you in the beginning that if you're going to be anointed, you got to be willing to be unpopular. You can't fit in.
Amen.
By the time I was 22 years old, I was an evangelist preaching at my church, going to different churches throughout the union, preaching and ministering and telling them my story. And guess what? I was so proud of what God had done for me. I was so young and innocent. I was so proud of what he had done for me. And I would tell it everywhere I go. I used to be a stripper, but God delivered me. And guess what? Them church people talked about me behind my back. I ain't talking about this church, so I'm going to turn around and talk to this church over here. You know them church people talk about me behind my back because I let my story out that I had been a stripper and the deacons tried to hit on me. Can I get a church?
Come on, talk about it.
Watch where you cover your family. Watch where you cover your family.
They started talking and it hurt me so. It was like a stab in my gut because I was a new saint and I was saved for real. I was saved for real. And it hurt me that they would hurt me like that. And I sat on the stage one day leading praise and worship. I can't sing, but I can show exhort. I was standing up there exhorting and I saw them coming in snickering and stuff like that. My friends would go off with one another. I'm standing up there. People think I'm in the spirit, but I was crying because I was hurt. And the Spirit of the living God told me to dry my eye. He said, you will never fit in. You were born to stand out, baby girl. They're not going to like you. So? They're not going to invite you out to dinner. So? They ain't going to want you to go to the club with you. Okay.
All right.
If the Lord set you free, if you redeem, say so. I'm redeemed. I got something you don't have. And he let me know, listen, I don't care how old they are. They're going to be your same age. They're going to be a little bit older than you. But I set you there to be an example. So you can't be familiar with them because they have to have a healthy respect for you. I didn't understand why I had to stand out, but I had to stand out because he wanted me to teach them.
Amen.
So lesson number 2, little sisters. What's lesson number 2? Don't try to fit in. Why?
You were born to stand out.
Stand out. Lesson number 3. Sister to sister. I want you to know this, that when you run alone, it's called a race. But when you have God, it's called grace. Now that's very important because throughout the years I wasn't perfect. But I had grace and mercy. It carried me through. It carried me on. There were things that happened to me in those clubs, in those dance clubs, that I can't talk about today. Because it took a piece of me as a person, as a woman. And I just choose not to go back there.
Yeah. Amen.
But the Lord began to tell me, I can fill every hole, every void in your life. But I need you to trust me. So he took me from my pole, my P-O-L-E, my place of low esteem. And he took me to my pulpit.
Amen.
And that didn't mean that I had to preach. That just meant that I was going to be all right.
Amen. Amen.